going on, guys? South Ontario Outdoors here. We got ATC Outdoors. We're going to be doing an ice fishing gear review and basically a video on all the essentials you're going to need this ice season. Now when we're talking about rods, the first place we're going to start is on ponds, because in first ice some guys are going to go out on 2 inches to 4 inches of ice. And around here, the only thing that freezes first is ponds, because we don't have lakes. So, when we're on ponds, we're fishing mainly panfish. And when we're fishing panfish, we're fishing light gear. So, today I have with me the Berkley Cherrywood HD light action? Or is it an ultralight? Ultralight. Even better. So, when you're fishing for panfish, particularly bluegill, and any other variant of sunfish, I like to use ultralights and lights, preferably an ultralight. With an ultralight rod, the whole rod's basically just a slinky, So when we start off, we're gonna have 2 to 4 inches of ice, and it's a little sketchy. But we're Canadian, so of course we're gonna go out first ice. Now, second off on rods, we're talking about, say, 3 weeks to a month into ice fishing season. And 3 weeks to a month into ice fishing season, our rivers freeze. And with rivers, we have walleyes. And for walleye fishing, I like to use a medium action rod or a medium light, depending on, the size of the walleye we're fishing. But where we fish, we get some decent sized walleyes. So, today I have here the Berkley Cherrywood HD medium action. And I forgot to mention the size. I do believe this is a 24 inch on the ultralight. Yep, ultralight, I fish 24s. This is my medium action, and I used to fish 24 inch, 26 inch medium rods. But now I find I like the longer rods, because when you got a fish on, you got to load it up. And if that fish has a head shake, you have more play in the rod, and it's going to still keep tension. If you have a short little rod and it does a head shake, it can go slack. So, I like to use a 30 to a 32 inch medium action rod here. And I'm running probably about, I'd say anywhere from 8 to 16 feet of water. So, it's nice to have a good sized spool on there. This is only like, I don't know, probably a 1000 series, but I got it pretty loaded, but I didn't overload it. So, next up, we're still in the middle of winter here, and we're going to be using this stuff. This is a heavy action rod. It takes a lot to bend, but really good dead stick rod. So around here, we'll set dead sticks for big walleye, pike. Sometimes we'll get lake trout come in, rainbow trout. And last year, a guy even got a salmon through the ice here, surprisingly enough. But, yeah, with this rod, this has a good old Shimano R2000, or as they usually call it now, an IX. Or yeah, I do believe this is the 2000 series or the 1000. I think it's actually a 1000. Yeah, it's a 1000. I was a big fan of the R2000s years ago. I used them all the time, open water, ice, everything. But this is the R1000, and with the R just means rear drag, which I'm a big fan of rear drag reels too, actually. Yeah, so that's a heavy action rod, dead stick. You can use them for jigging big heavy spoons for, lake trout, whatever you want. But to me, it's more of a dead stick rod. Another thing, if you're not a big fan of sitting out there and jigging, or if you're jigging in your hut, but you can have another line running, we have tip-ups. And with a tip-up, for people who don't know, maybe you're getting into ice fishing, a tip-up is basically, it's like a hands-free rod. So, we have this piece here, it all folds up. This piece sits like this. It's got Oh, yeah,
Get a nice jig head on the end here.
Yeah, I like to tip that with a minnow. You have this thing here. We've got this long rod that comes down, and you put it in the ice hole. And it's got this little reel on here. And when you spin that reel, it's got another little rod that goes through the other rod, and it can free spin inside. Now, you're going to drop it down to the bottom of the lake, river, whatever you're fishing. You're going to drop it down. It's going to hit the bottom. And then, you bring it up to whatever height you're going to put it at. You find your depth that you want. And then there's two little pins on here. There's a thin little slot and a wider slot.
Hard to see.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see, but anyways, this flag here, it's going to come down, and once you get it to the depth you want, if you're fishing for pike or trout or something, you're going to put it on the larger slot, and if you're fishing for walleye or perch, you're going to put it on the thin slot. And what this does is it sits there in the spot you set it at, and then a fish is going to pull that line when it's going to bite the bait, pull the line, and this flag's going to go up. And say whatever your maximum distance is away, for us it's like 30 feet or 30 meters or something like that. You can see that flag go up, run over, you pull this out, and you're going to grab the line, and if it's slack or if it's still running, it depends. If it's still running, then you kind of just let it run for a second and then set the hook. But if it's slack, you're going to pull your line up until you feel tension, and then you're going to, let me get this unhooked off my leg, you're going to go like this, and you're going to set it, and then you're going to basically hand over hand pull that line up, and you catch your fish. It's a little bit different from jigging, but, I still like doing it every now and then.
Something to get used to.
Yeah, it is. Alright, so that covers rods. Hey guys, I'd like to say thanks for watching. This is going to be a 4-part series, so stay tuned for the new videos this week. We'll be posting every 1 to 2 days for the rest of the week until this series is done. And hopefully we'll have some ice pretty soon so we can start putting out some actual fishing videos. We got rods. So when you're using rods,